Alright guys, well I'm back today with a brand new rifle mounted lighting system from the company INFORCE. You guys have heard of INFORCE, they've been making lights for a while, and this is one of their first full-size rifle mounted lighting solutions, and this one is the ARC 650 LR. Now this is pretty cool because it combines a lot of industry standards as well as a dual fuel design all in one nice package, and it doesn't completely break the bank. We are looking at a lot of value in the entire setup. We're going to be talking about the specs and features of this light, how it performed down at the range, and how it's been holding up over time, mounted up to this PSA Guardian rifle. And we've put a lot of rounds through this rifle with the light hanging off the side, and we've not had any issues, and I don't expect any issues out of INFORCE. On top of that, INFORCE also offers a lifetime warranty for the original owner, so they stand behind their products. Let's talk about it. One thing about lights, especially in 2025, is when I'm setting up a rifle, a lot of times I want lights in different spots. I also want lights to be able to be mounted in a wide variety of locations because you never know when I'm also going to be putting on the rifle, and you never know the overall length and hand position if you're using a hand stop, AFG, or vertical grip. So having something that's modular is definitely a must-have for me, and INFORCE makes that very simple with the Scout mounting solution on the opposing side of the light itself. You can bolt directly any Scout mounting system you want onto this light, and they also include this offset mount inside the box that mounts up to the M-LOK, and I absolutely love this mount, and for me there was no need to swap it out. It mates up incredibly flush with the rail system, so it's not hanging off the side, and if you have your favorite Scout mounting solution, it'll again mount up right there, so you can attach it however you want. Now, I love this solution right out of the box. You can see it hugs the rail perfectly without getting too close to have any conflicts with the head of the light. So for me, again, love the mount that's included, and that is also really nice that does include the mount in the box. One thing to note about the modularity and versatility is this actually also uses Scout thread patterns on the end of it, and it only comes with a tail switch in the box. Now that means you can run it on the other side and use your thumb to click the button. But for me personally, I love running pressure switches, so you will have to buy a pressure switch separate from this light. Now I've tried the standard Surefire Scout pressure switches on this light, and they work out perfectly, no issues whatsoever, but you may not want to spend $125 or $135 on a pressure switch, maybe even more depending on which one you select. So I started to try some aftermarket Scout thread pattern switches like this one from Amazon. This entire setup was about $15 from Amazon, and it threaded on, although it didn't sit completely flush. It works out great, no issues whatsoever. So if you do want to run an aftermarket Scout thread pattern pressure switch, this is going to work out just fine, or at least the ones I tested did. And if they're working on a lot of those similar versions of the Scout lights available, it should work on the INFORCE just fine. So a really nice touch right there. Now moving along to the kind of basic specs and features of the light itself. Now this one is pretty cool because it actually has a 2-hour and 45-minute runtime off of the included 18650 rechargeable battery, and it comes with the battery charger cable in the box, but it's also a dual fuel design, meaning you can run this adapter and run two CR1238 batteries inside the tube itself, so you have the ability to run that the recharging lighting system with the USB-C plug right into the charger, and if it dies in the field, you can always throw this in your kit, whether it's your budget battle belt, your plate carrier setup, your chest rig, or even in your pocket, and swap that out in the field. But the runtime, especially for the output of this light, is very impressive. I love the fact that this will run for a very long time, and the lumen output on this as well as the candela output on this is absolutely great. Now you do have a max lumen output of 1400 lumens and a candela output of 90,000 candelas, as well as a max beam distance of 600 meters. Now this uses the long range head But this also not only throws the beam for a distance, but has a really nice diffuse pattern around that center spot. So not only do you get a really good beam distance, but you get a lot of peripheral light just dispersion across the entire field of view. So it allows you to not only shoot at distance, but up close. So I was running this, as you can see in the intro, at night behind the house out to the tree line. And I think the max distance there was about 200 yards, and you could light up the entire field, yet it doesn't completely blind you when you're in the house because a lot of that focus is in that center spot, but you have a nice wash of light around you so you can see everything you're doing inside for CQB or personal defense. So a really great jack of all trades head on this light, and I love that setup right there. The other great thing about this light is the fact that it's got a lot of really nice certifications that allows it to be used for duty use. This is a IPX8 certified waterproof rating on here, so fully submergible. Great option. I throw a lot of lights on different rigs. We were doing a lot of beaver hunting here recently, and a lot of times it'll be raining out there, it'll get wet or something like that. So even just basic things like that, this is going to work for. But truly, like duty use scenario, this can be fully submerged, so that's great. It also is the mil standard 810H certified for drop and shock. We ran a lot of these lights under slow-mo, or this particular light on a lot of rifles under slow-mo pattern, and I think I rolled in some footage in slow-mo. It doesn't skip on or off under recoil. A lot of previous generations of rifle lights would do that when the batteries were kind of moving around. It wasn't visible to the naked eye, but you could see it in slow motion. This light does not do that. So just again, a solid light across the board. We've had no issues with durability and reliability. And again, if for some crazy reason you do get a lemon, these guys have a lifetime warranty, so that is a really nice touch. You can also quarter turn the head for a mechanical lockout. So if you are storing this in a rifle bag and you want to disconnect the batteries from the circuit completely, that is going to be good to go. You can crank that back in, and now you can access your light. So that is a really nice touch. Now, I really like the dual fuel nature of this, and we've already discussed the feature, but why would you want dual fuel when you have a nice 18650 rechargeable battery? And for me, that's going to be a lot to do with if you're truly using this as a duty rifle in very cold scenarios, and you're leaving the rifle sit like in your patrol car in the winter months for 6 months at a time, vampire drain can be detrimental on a rechargeable 18650 battery, where it's not so detrimental on CR123As. In fact, you can get shelf life up to 5, potentially 10 years out of CR123A batteries sitting in a setup. So for me, if you're using this as a truly duty grade rifle, that if you are using this in the trunk of your patrol car, if you're in law enforcement, or you're throwing it in your truck as a truck gun, you may never touch that rifle for a year or two, I would recommend pulling the 18650 and getting the most durable and reliable CR123As and running the dual fuel design. If you're taking this out once a month, you're going to the range once a week, so much more affordable to run the 18650s and recharge it. And then if you're going to let your rifle sit for potentially up to a year or two without ever touching it, and that's a scenario for a lot of people when they are running duty rifles. They may qualify once a year with their rifle and throw it back in the trunk of their patrol car. I would highly recommend running the CR123As. And this is almost a must-have right now for me anyways, for patrol rifle, duty grade, or personal defense rifles. There's a lot of times a rifle may get sighted in, thrown in a closet, and never see the light of day for a year or two because there's never a need for a personal defense situation during those times. So running the CR123As is definitely nice. The fit and finish of this light is spectacular. You can tell you're utilizing a quality light. You have the housing made out of 6061 T6 aluminum with mil-spec Type 3 hard anodized finish, so you're getting a good finish across the light, and they just make quality lights. INFORCE has done a good job with this light, especially with all the specs and features, truly bringing this in from just a range light to a professional grade, duty grade light that you can trust your life to, and I love the fact that it's got a ton of modularity. My only complaint would be the fact that the MSRP is right around $249, and they don't include a pressure switch. I would love to see INFORCE develop some type of pressure switch, whether it's in-house or aftermarket, that comes with the light at that price point. But again, when you were looking at other competitors in the market, especially assembled in the USA or made in the USA options, this is going to be much more affordable than some of those others out there. And that's the last thing I want to discuss, the fact that this is an assembled in the USA light. And there's a difference between assembled in the USA and made in the USA. But assembled in the USA means they're going to be assembling these in a factory in the US, but some of their subcomponents may be made overseas. That's a big deal to me. I love the fact that these are put together in the US. That means they go through a level of quality control that you don't see in other manufacturing settings overseas. The US and INFORCE simply puts more care when they are assembling these lights than you could potentially get overseas. Now, I'm not knocking overseas fully produced lights, but it's nice that this one is assembled in the US, bringing jobs back to our own shores. Love the light. I think you will too. More information in the description. Thanks for watching. Thanks to INFORCE for sending this out for me to test and evaluate. Pretty awesome light. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.